Hi everyone. My name is Kenny. I'm Maddison's father. Isaac asked my permission for Maddison's hand in marriage. It was very honorable. I could tell how much courage and respect it took. It really showed us how much respect we have for each other. It was just really touching. Christina and Matthew, what a wonderful son you guys have raised. We've got to know Isaac on many different levels, and he has proven to be a good young man and a very great match for Maddison. We are beyond blessed that they have found each other.
When Maddison was just 6 years old, I had a friend ask me if I started to pray for Maddison's future husband. I calmly said no, but I thought to myself, seriously, she is only 6. But that night as I lay down in bed, I thought about what she had said and I began to pray for Maddison's future husband. And also her adult life, and I never stopped praying for her.
God has answered our prayers, Isaac. We both know you will honor her, hold her values high, respect her, and treat her dearly. We also know you are a God-honored man, and we know you will seek God together.
Isaac, I remember holding Maddison as a little baby and even as a little girl. And I just wanted to hold her and look at her and make sure that she was safe and secure. And today we're giving that job to you. And because, Isaac, you are who you are, you can do that with confidence and boldly. You will always look out for the best interests.
Isaac, we can honestly say that we love you and we welcome you to the family.
We are so excited that this day is finally here. It's a joy and a privilege to welcome Maddison to our family. When Isaac was about 4 years old, he declared he would never marry a Philistine. I was trying to distract Isaac from complaining on a long walk, so I was telling him the Bible story of Samson and Delilah. Delilah was a Philistine and tricked Samson into telling her the secret to his supernatural strength. This brought about Samson's destruction, and it made Isaac really mad. He wanted to know who the Philistines were, so he would never marry one. We assured him he not need worry about that, but it would be wise to marry someone who honors God and wants the best for you. This became my prayer for him, and it's awesome to see how God has answered that prayer. I just feel the same way as Aaron. It's only God. It's just amazing how he brought you together. Isaac has always made a strong impression on people, and we've seen this with Maddison as well, though they have very different personalities. Isaac was always very talkative and very confident. When he was a baby, we were in Taiwan for a year, and he got sick of drawing so much attention for his very blue eyes and blonde hair. And so before people would even start to talk at him, he would start yelling at them from his stroller. And they just thought it was hilarious, but they were like, oh, okay, we won't. When he started kindergarten, he promptly approached his teacher and asked when he would be learning science. He was very upset when he was told that it wouldn't be till grade 3. He said to me, I already know all the stuff the teacher says. And a few months later, the kids did presentations on topics of their choice, and Isaac's was on science. Isaac talked to everyone and anyone that would listen. He wouldn't just talk to kids or friends, but their parents, our neighbors, people in the mall or on buses, on soccer fields and playgrounds, and really anyone he came into contact with. And I made friends, sometimes unwillingly, but good friends too, through Isaac. And I have a quieter personality, so he forced me out. And usually by the time I met these people, they already knew me because Isaac had told them all about our family.
By the end of grade 10, Isaac had admired Maddison for quite some time. He was convinced she was the one way back then. And I thought so back then, and then we were just talking about the other day, and he said, yeah, it was way back then. So And he wanted our blessing to officially begin to date her. We recognize Maddie as an extraordinary girl, and you have raised as well a wonderful daughter, Erin Kenny. Just wonderful. But at the same time, we also knew how hard it would be to date all the way through high school or wife and all the way until marriage with integrity. So we encouraged them to grow closer together as friends for the time being and to trust the rest with God. We kept getting baptized. He did leave us alone for a little while, but near the start of grade 11, Isaac persisted, asking permission to date Maddison. We replied that we wanted him to take a month to pray, seek wise counsel, and read the book of Proverbs, and we would read it too, and we'd pray about it too, and we'd see what the Lord was speaking to him and us about the matter. Christina and I, the general impression was, well, for my part, patience is a virtue. Good things come to those who wait, and wise counsel from your parents is indispensable. And at the end of the month, we spoke to Isaac about it, and he didn't agree. He felt like God was saying that he should, in fact, date Maddison as soon as possible. And I thought in my head, really? God, eh? But as he had respected our request, and he had respected our request to wait, and then respected our request to go through this month of seeking God's wisdom on it, we agreed to green light at the beginning of the dating relationship. So your relationship began with honoring your parents, a great foundation. And as it grew, we admired the integrity you demonstrated. You always behaved uprightly toward Maddison and spoke honoringly about her and to her and her family. This hasn't changed in your engagement, and it's wonderful. It was wonderful to hear you easily list so many things you love about Maddison and our boys' camp out earlier this summer. Remember those things and tell her often. You have always been a loving and dedicated brother, but in dating Maddison, you've modeled integrity to your siblings, to your brothers. You've demonstrated how to treat a lady with honor and respect. To your sisters, you've provided an example of a strong man and how they should be treated one day. For this, we're truly grateful to you and Maddison as well. Isaac has an adventurous spirit, not one to be put in a box or pinned in. Tries everything: drama, sports, choir, trumpet, lifeguarding, blah, 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 blah. I got a list, I can stop. The only thing he never wanted to do was coloring. Everything in this picture is supposed to be white, he would tell his teachers. But now, as a future architect, he's coloring them in the lines professionally. Yeah, it's funny. And we got back from a camping trip. He's like, "Oh, look at this drawing I made." And it's like, this is not the elementary school Isaac that I introduced to. Hated this.
His kindergarten teacher said to me, "Didn't you ever get into color?" And I was like, "No, I didn't, because we didn't want to."
He loves a thrill. Always wants to go on the biggest slides, rides, coasters, which of course meant I had to go as well. At first, as the responsible parent of a young child going on these things, and then because I couldn't be outdone by my son. So as I'm standing in the box of this super drop slide, thinking, what is my 40-year-old body doing in this thing right now? Yes. But there was that one time that your Uncle Sean took you on and spared me from the elevator in Playland in BC. So yeah, that's really nice. I am grateful to have gone along for the ride, though. That's the sweet stuff of life, and I experienced more of it because of you, and I'm sure Maddie will too. Isaac loves adventures, plane trips, road trips, hiking the biggest hill in Buffalo Pound or wherever. Isaac, I'm so glad that you found another adventurous spirit to move through life with. Like you, Maddison is not afraid to step out of her comfort zone, but is not held back by insecurity.
We saw Madison's confidence in her roles in the plays and musicals, especially when she tried out for the role of Crutchy in Newsies, and you were adamant about getting a main role. And she totally pulled it off. She truly shined and outstaged and amazed us with her acting, singing, and her ability to become a character so different from herself. Madison also makes an impression on everyone she meets. She stands out. In fact, after meeting, they went to my aunt and uncle's to drop off an invitation, and my uncle has 4 sons. And after meeting Maddison, he said, "Where did she come from, and where do I find more of her?" So Maddison is stand out. She's not easily influenced by culture or people around her. She truly has a mind of her own. She's honoring to her parents. She has a quiet, gentle spirit, but is also strong, assertive, and knows what she wants. She has so many strengths. Acting, singing, entrepreneurship, business sense, good with people and animals, book smart, and wise. She's been an excellent example to our girls as well. And we are so thankful that our sons found a woman so capable, mature, and extraordinary. We are overjoyed and honored to welcome you to the family.
Yes, we are. Where was I? As you build your life together, your life together, take risks. Make fun happen wherever God has you. Don't get caught up living like those around you. God has a good plan for you. And at times, it's a daring adventure. I'm sure that together you will learn to trust God and plunge into the deep end of life. Maddison, welcome to our family.
So I'm Hannah, and Maddie asked us all this tonight to share a couple words with you guys. So I've known Izaak since preschool, and I've known Maddie since she came to Cornerstone. I'm not sure the specific point where Maddie and I became friends, but I remember one day in 8th grade I received a text from Maddie asking me if I would come over to her house and practice our flutes, all for an upcoming band concert. I remember riding to her house with my flute in hand and being super excited to practice with her. Now, we never ended up practicing our flutes. We rather spent 3 hours chatting from everything about our hobbies, to boys, to school, classes, or current homework that we're doing. And the latest tea, which is also a term known for gossip that was going on in our lives, like most teenage gossip. Since that day and over the years, it's been amazing to watch Maddie grow into the beautiful, strong woman of God that she is today. I became beyond excited over the moon for Maddie when they announced to her friend group that they were officially dating. From that day that they announced to us, I had a strong feeling that their relationship would be one to prosper, and I had a strong feeling that they would soon one day get married. I remember sitting in class near these two and catching one look at the other and exchanging glances, and it became obvious to me that these two were in love, which was blessed by God, which is far different than most typical high school relationships. It's been a privilege to watch their relationship grow blossom and grow, and here we are today. As we stand here today to celebrate these two, their God-centered relationship has been a role model for me, and I'm sure as well as others. And God has been encouraging to be privileged to be able to witness the two grow together over the past couple of years. Now, Maddie and you, Izaak, as you enter this new chapter of your life together, I pray that you guys will continue to keep God in the center. The life may have its highs and lows, God will continue to remain constant. I leave this verse with you guys. With all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in one peace. Ephesians 4 verses 2 to 3.
Okay, so I'm not a public speaker, nor have I ever been, so bear with me. So I'm Tirsa. I've known Izaak since we were in preschool, and I had known Maddison since she came to Cornerstone in grade 8. Maddie was the new girl, and she was super quiet and shy, which had me immediately drawn to her as I too was pretty quiet. I, again, like Hannah said, don't know when we exactly became friends, but we shared interests as far as going as far as playing guitar, to our favorite artists that we listened to, and honestly, even just little things such as how much we loved coffee or tea. Maddie's always proven to be a dependable friend and somebody who I can lean on whenever I need. She's a strong woman of God, and I've had so many deep conversations with her about our faith. It's been so amazing to watch Maddie go from that shy, quiet girl who wouldn't speak up in class to who she is now today. And like I said, she's somebody who can be depended on and just the most amazing woman of God. Maddie and I have been through a lot together. We've gone through ups and downs, sad times, happy times. We've had arguments. And you know, one story that I want to share with you today is one of the sad experiences that I went through with Maddie. Actually, we all, us bridesmaids, went through with Maddie. So I think that this is the time that our friendship was fully solidified. We decided to go to youth bake, and I'd been the year before, but just with my youth group, not ever with friends. So, of course, we're young girls, we're a little bit crazy, and we don't go to sleep at normal time. So it's like 1:30, 2 in the morning, and we get back from some concerts. And we decided that it'd be best if we have piggyback ride races down the dorm hallways. So Maddie had Olivia on her back, and Hannah and I were a team. And Hannah and I were just about to win when they go racing past us. And then Maddie trips. And she rips her favorite pair of pants, which she still speaks about and mourns to this day. Maddie and Isaac, you have been friends that I've been able to look up to. Your love of God and each other has proven to strengthen your relationship more and more every day. It's been an honor to be invited to witness your relationship grow. A verse that I'd like to leave with you today is, 2 are better than 1, because they are a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help up the other. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they'll keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Ecclesiastes 4:9. I pray that even though your relationship obviously isn't going to be a smooth ride all the time, I pray that you guys will always be there to help each other up.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I knew Isaac actually at daycare, and he terrorized me, so whatever. But yeah, he's a good guy now, so he's a change. And I met Maddie in 2015, which was our grade 9 year. I believe it was 5 years ago already. Unfortunately, I hardly remember anything about my grade 9 year. It's kind of a blur, but I do remember this very specifically. So, for some reason our class was put into pairs for a group project or something. We had to make a video. Don't remember what it was about really, but I was super nervous because I was paired with Maddie, and for some reason I had this idea in my head that like we wouldn't like each other or something. I don't know why, because Maddie is just the sweetest, but yeah, because once we got together and actually started working, it was like we just clicked. Like we talked about everything and anything, and it was so easy to talk to her. And I quickly found out that she was hilarious. She's so funny. And we hardly got any work done at all because Maddie's so funny. And our project ended up being like really silly, but we still have an inside joke from it today, so I think that's kind of cool. And yeah, that's something I really appreciate about Maddie over the years is she's so happy and she's just able to light up her room. I think that's so cool. And I think Isaac's really lucky to have that light with him for the rest of his life. And I'm hoping that he'll be willing to share her with me sometimes still. And speaking of sharing Maddie with me, some of my favorite memories of these two were actually during a musical at Cornerstone. So in 10th grade, I was luckily able to convince Maddie to join me to audition for the musical. And I'm really glad that I did because I like to think that it sort of played a part in getting them together, a little bit at least. Because after a long time of practicing, I remember Maddie admitting to me that she might like Isaac, maybe. And I was like, oh, okay. And I don't know why, but the idea of being a matchmaker just like appealed to me. So I was like, excellent. And then I ended up pestering Maddie and Isaac constantly about it. Yeah, all the time. And Maddie was always like, oh yeah, okay. But then Isaac was always like, no, I don't like Maddison. Because he's a boy and he's closed off and whatever. But finally, during performance week, so we used to do this thing every night before a show we called rounds, where in the basement of the May Wilson Theater, it's like basically a giant circle. So the 3 of us would just walk around again and again and talk and be silly and stuff. But sometimes one of us would have to duck out and get like our hair done or our makeup done or something like that. So if Isaac was to duck out and it was just me and Maddie, I'd be constantly bugging her, you know, I know you like Isaac and you like him. She was like, okay, yeah, but he doesn't like me back, okay? And I was like, uh-huh. So then when Maddie would duck out and it was just me and Isaac, I'd be like, you know, I think you might like Maddie, like, she's super cute, huh? And he, of course, like I said, he was pretty closed off about it. But eventually, I just bugged him so much that he started to get this little uncontrollable smile on his face, and I just knew. I was like, yes. And one time he did actually admit it to me, but of course he followed it up with, yeah, but I don't think she would like me back, you know? And I was like, what do I do? So I just, a lot of repetition, you know, a lot of plotting. Yes, I think maybe the other one does like you. It's just a hunch. But yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, all I can say now is that you're welcome for that. I'm just kidding. What I really want to say is that it's been such an incredible privilege to know you guys and to see your relationship grow the way it has. Such a stable and good high school relationship is a rare thing, and yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm so privileged to have been able to see you guys have that and then have it blossom into a marriage now. That's so cool to me. I just look up to you guys so much. You're both so dedicated and loving to God and to each other and to everyone around you. It's just such an inspiration. And yeah, it's just been a crazy good 5 years of knowing you. And just, yeah, I love you. My verse for you is Romans 12:10. Be devoted to one another in love, honoring one another above yourselves.
So, like these wonderful ladies and good friends of mine, this is one of the first times I've ever been nervous to talk, ever. So I'm going to start with saying I'm very sorry for all of you for the next few minutes. As you're about to realize, I was one of the few that enjoyed writing essays. Alright, so this thing, it was a bit of a shocker for me about 5 years ago. This was like watching a garden being grown in a neighboring backyard, being right next to the two of them the entire time. You don't stare for hours at the weeding, planting, or trimming. You will never see the growth in the current state. At first, it was weird to be in that position. Admittedly, my mother noticed their relationship before I did. Being not far from a child myself in that place in my life, I could not see the difficulty of the task they had taken upon themselves. They maintained a healthy relationship through the entirety of the most emotionally turbulent place of most people's lives, and they made it out the other side. I've been the biggest fan of these two since their first admittance to the rest of the group that they were dating. Such a large fan that I discussed with Izaak the exact manner in which I would help him capture the moment of proposal, with myself hiding in a bush with a camera, videotaping the event. It came to me with great surprise afterwards that Izaak proposed while I was on a different continent. Fanboy attitude aside, these two were role models for the rest of us as we struggled through high school. We watched Maddison and Izaak make mistakes and watch themselves pull each other up nonetheless. Yes, even when they began early on, to our great surprise, they were taking what the Cornerstone community looked down upon them, premarital handholding. I see in these two great aptitude, even with life and its utter chaos, which as a concept is synonymous philosophically with potential. The order of life requires chaos to grow, and vice versa. Never be scared to walk into the unknown as long as you go in standing up straight, shoulders back, and values strong. I'm excited for the potential as well for these two to grow as people and as a family. For I strongly remember Isaac's quote from watching children being something basketball team. Even though I hate to say it, jokes aside. Today, I'm surrounded here by not only my best friends and their relatives, but by the collective family I've experienced over the last 7 years that I've known Izaak and Maddison. It's a wonderful feeling of togetherness, not just in the uniting of these two hooligans, but in the human spirit of endurance despite the greatest odds in unprecedented times like these. If there is one thing I can ask of you, Maddison, and you, Izaak, It is to look past the feeling of being in love. It, like all things, will not last, and in the feebleness of human nature can be easily lost. The act of love, however, is one that you must strive for. In the words of C.S. Lewis, a deep unity maintained by the will and strengthened by habit, reinforced by the grace which both partners ask and receive from God. They can have this love for each other even at the moments in which they do not like each other, as you love yourself even when you do not like yourself. It is on this love that the engine of marriage is run. Being in love was the explosion that started it. So it's on this last point that I will finally stop talking to quote myself and Isaac's favorite author: the most important step a man can take. It's not the first one, is it? It's the next step. Always the next step.